Good morning. My name is Mara Downing, and I'm the Vice President of Global Brand and Communications here at John Deere. I'm delighted to welcome all of you here today. It's great to see you face-to-face after a year of being virtual on Zoom calls. You know, we're always thrilled to host people here at our world headquarters. One of the notable aspects of this building is the glass facade. That's how this building got the name, the Glass Palace. When Eero Saarinen designed the building, one of the primary objectives was to ensure no matter where you stood in the building, you had a view outside. And to put that into context today for our employees, it's important for two reasons. One, it's inspiring, it's intended to inspire. As we think about looking over the horizon and dreaming into the future, dreaming big and innovating for the future. It's also important because it reminds us of those we serve, our customers who work the land, and also those in the community and the Quad Cities we call home. And so it's fitting that today we're hosting the United Way here for this important announcement, because when we think of those who serve, I can't think of a better organization than the United Way. This year I have the pleasure of serving as the incoming board chair for the United Way, and it's just been really inspiring and a wonderful opportunity to see how United Way is really impacting those and helping those who are most vulnerable in this community. When you think about the talented staff at United Way, they do really three important things. One, they identify important issues that we all must tackle as a community. Next, they mobilize resources to address those issues. And third, they collaborate across the community. They identify the partners that can help us get the job done. And so it's really great to see the work that United Way is leading right now. And they've been leading this work for over 50 years. But the work is not done. When we think about the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic here in our local community, and we think about the inequities that have existed for far too long, there's still a lot of work to be done. So with that, I'd like to welcome Renee Gellerman, President and CEO of United Way of the Quad Cities, to join me here at the podium to share United Way's vision for the next decade. Renee?
Thank you so much, Mara, for that warm welcome, and thank you for your commitment to United Way and the Quad Cities. I'm especially grateful to be back here at Deere World Headquarters today with all of you. And speaking of gratitude, please allow me a moment to share some of my appreciation. Mara and Ryan and the thousands of John Deere employees, we are so fortunate and appreciative of your support of United Way since its very beginning. And thank you, Mayors Ray Apati and Tomes and the many community leaders here with us today and watching online for both your service to the Quad Cities as well as your guidance to United Way in our work. Thank you to United Way's volunteer board of directors who play an important role in supporting our initiatives to drive lasting change across the region. And a special thanks to Linda Bowers, our current board chair, whose term comes to an end later next month. We owe Linda a debt of gratitude for her leadership and tireless commitment to our community, and especially our youngest Quad citizens. Under Linda's passionate leadership, our community has rallied to do more, especially to ensure children have safe, quality early care and education and are succeeding in kindergarten. And thank you to the many nonprofit and grassroots partners who work on the front line every day, and the more than 10,000 donors, 3,000 volunteers, 275 companies whose collective generosity helped nearly 60,000 people live better lives over the last year. And finally, thank you to my coworkers. My colleagues have extraordinary passion for their work, for the people they serve, and each other, and I'm humbled to be on their team. It's in this spirit of gratitude that I'm humbled to celebrate with you today the launch of Rise United 2030, United Way's community goals for the next decade. At United Way, we believe in the power of unity, and what unites us is our shared vision that every Quad citizen, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, status, or background, deserves the opportunity and access to thrive and to develop their full potential. Certainly, the tragedies of the last year have shined a spotlight on the many challenges that our community faces in making that vision a reality. But these challenges do not define us. Instead, it's who we believe we are as a region and how we rise together to overcome those obstacles that will truly distinguish us. Looking back on how our region responded to the COVID-19 pandemic and the long overdue social justice debate provides a powerful and inspirational glimpse to the remarkable things that we can accomplish together. Those experiences tested, tempered, and primed us, so now as individuals and a community, we're ready to do more. We're ready to recover, rebuild, and reclaim our future, and we're ready to rise united. Rise United is a set of bold goals that advance equity in the areas of education, income, and health in the Quad Cities for the next decade. It's the result of nearly 2 years of planning, seeking feedback and input from cross-sector leaders, content experts, and residents throughout the bi-state region. It's aligned with Q2030, our region's economic and community development plan, and designed to advance those goals. Rise United will inform all United Way investments, programs, and partnerships, and advocacy so that more students graduate from high school prepared to succeed in college or career, more neighbors are able to find and maintain work that provides financial stability, and more of our families are receiving routine, physical, and mental health care, leading to long, healthy, and productive lives. To achieve these goals, we'll focus on 3 key levers to drive progress over the next decade. First, in education, we will help kids learn for their future and increase by 30% the number of Quad Cities students reading on grade level by 3rd grade. Second, in income, we will help people earn and secure financial stability. We will increase by 20% the number of young adults ages 25 to 44 years old who earn a living wage. This will add an additional $116 million in gross wage income per year to our economy. And third, in health, we will help people lead long and healthy and productive lives by increasing to 95% the number of residents who report receiving routine and preventative health care. These education, income, and health building blocks are not only interconnected, but they're interdependent. We know that when kids have a good prenatal and early health care and education, they're more likely to be prepared to start school. And kids who enter school ready to learn are twice as likely to be reading by 3rd grade when they make that shift from learning to read to reading to learn. And students who are proficiently reading by 3rd grade are 5 times more likely to graduate from high school ready for college or career, and then on to living wage jobs where they can cover the costs of their families and save for their future. And across all these things, we will strive for equity, because at every benchmark in education, income, and health, we see stark disparities in opportunity for Black and Hispanic people in our communities. In the Quad Cities, Black and Hispanic youth are nearly twice as likely not to be reading on grade level than their white peers. Nearly 60% of Black and 42% of Hispanic families don't have jobs where they can make enough money to cover their basic needs. And more of our Hispanic and Black neighbors are facing health challenges that could be prevented if they had access to routine health care. When we tackle the root causes of systemic issues like these, rather than symptoms, we lift whole neighborhoods and whole groups. These community goals are ambitious, but to change the trajectory of a generation and our region, we have to aim high, and we have to take responsibility for getting there. Speaking of being ambitious and aiming high, I am so honored to introduce 3 leaders who don't let challenges stand in the way of their future success. Their knowledge of community, dedication to United Way and the causes we champion, along with their reputation as outstanding business leaders, make them the perfect trio for our 2021 Community Campaign Chairs. And they are Chad Everett, Managing Partner, Deloitte, Caitlin Russell, Senior Vice President, Russell, and Ladrina Wilson, Founder and CEO of Eman Consulting. As chairs of our upcoming campaign, these 3 community leaders will formally kick off efforts later this summer with dozens of volunteers who will work to mobilize the resources to put opportunity in the hands of more Quad citizens. As a former academic administrator and now entrepreneur and CEO of Iman Consulting, Dr. Wilson understands the responsibility and the need for collaboration to achieve big things. She's known in our community as an education advocate, a diversity, equity, and inclusion expert, a brilliant leader, communicator, and strategist, and I am lucky to consider her a mentor and friend. All those attributes make her an ideal candidate to join our team of United Way campaign chairs this year, so please join me in welcoming Dr. Ladrina Wilson.
Thank you, Renee, for those kind remarks. I am truly honored, and when I say truly honored, I mean it, to be here today to support United Way and our community and the Rise United 2030 goals. This past year, 2020, is forever emblazoned in my mind, and I imagine it is in yours as well. This year gave us time to reflect and to pause and set new goals for our future. It's up to us together that we consider the private, public, and nonprofit sector engaging as one another to benefit our community. We can't go it alone. Whether you're based locally or you are in some way, shape, or form committed to the Quad Cities, we must work together to drive more progress. This aspiration hits home for me. You see, my brother and I were raised here in the Quad Cities community with a single mother. She was an educator, so she laid a strong education foundation for us. But despite laying that strong education foundation, she realized it was incredibly important to keep us engaged, and she couldn't go it alone. She was never too proud to find programs that were free or at no cost that were funded by the generosity of our community. She wanted to make sure that my brother and I stayed active, stayed healthy, and stayed safe by engaging in programs and activities that kept us continuously learning. She was never too proud to work with our neighbors or our classmates' parents to create carpools, to make sure other kids had transportation, and to make sure we had transportation so that we could stay engaged. I can remember most of our activities, particularly in the summer. It'd be like, we're going to the zoo today. And I always knew it was Tuesday because that was the free day. She really worked to find those opportunities, and those types of things were available because of people like you. She also did this to make ends meet. So it was very much about our educational priorities, but also very much about having the opportunities that maybe aren't afforded to some people because they are locked out of access because of finances. My mother also taught us to give back. When I wasn't involved in after-school programs or in sports or community-based events, you would likely find me by my mother's side volunteering. You would find me tagging along as she led youth empowerment programs or serving meals at for Thanksgiving at the Martin Luther King Center. Or you might even find me soliciting donations for the Delta Sigma Theta Scholarship Fund. And I was doing all of these things at the tender age of 8 or 9. So in some ways, she prepared me for this exact moment where I would be partnering with United Way to have an impact in our community. You see, my mother taught me and lived out the African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child." I learned during that time with her that I was responsible to create conditions that allowed more young people who had similar circumstances to me be able to succeed. Everyday committed people in our community and strong organizations work to fight poverty, we work to reduce violence, and we are out here working to create paths for people to live their best possible lives. Yet our ability to move the needle on some of our community's most stubborn issues, particularly racial inequities, youth violence, and generational poverty, is slow and small in compared to what's possible. And we need to start thinking about things in terms of not what is probable, but what is possible. Because all too often we are well-intended, but doing things alone. We must do better together. We're part of the same village. This will mean mustering up the courage at all levels in all aspects of our community to achieve more, not just for one person or for one agency, but for our whole community. What will this require? It will require you giving up something and working toward a common vision, a vision like Rise United. It will require you to invest in our shared goals, be invested in the data that we will track to make sure we are accomplishing our goals, and it will require a new level of accountability from all of us who are entrusted with public and donor dollars to meet these needs. Each time I turn on the news, I shudder at the violence that's happening around us. I consider the environmental factors that contribute to what's happening, and I'm left to contemplate what might have happened if that person had access to some of the same opportunities I had access to because of the generosity of the village. I wonder, how do we grow the access and availability to high-impact programs? And I worry. I worry about the community our children will inherit if we don't commit to change. The opportunity gaps that keep too many people from developing their full potential should not be an obstacle we leave to the next generation to solve. We must rise to the occasion and act in ways that support innovative, right-now solutions for today's problems. I want you to be part of that community that rises to the occasion, and I want us to serve as a model community for people all across the nation to understand that when we come together to have collective impact, we will be unstoppable, and our children and the people in our community will benefit from this. Let's raise the bar, let's do more together, let's give more, and let's rise united to ensure every person, regardless of race, regardless of zip code, has the opportunity and access to achieve their full potential. I hope you will join me in stretching your contribution dollars, your time, and your voice as we make this vision a reality. I'm especially thankful, and we should be as well, to have a great partner in John Deere, who steps up when they are needed to help build a brighter future and a more equitable community here in the Quad Cities. And with that, I will ask you to join me in welcoming Ryan Campbell, the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer here at Deere & Company.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan Campbell, and I'm the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer here at Deere & Company. It's my sincere honor to host you at our world headquarters for today's event. I'm also privileged to join several exceptional community leaders to speak in support of the United Way. I'm often asked why United Way is so important to me. I have two answers, one that will tell you something about John Deere, and one that will tell you a little something about me. In every community John Deere calls home, there are people who desperately need and deserve a simple chance to improve their lives. While we do not know all their names or their stories, these are people who mean something to us. They are the children and families who live, learn, and work within a mere handful of miles from this headquarters building. They are our next-door neighbors, they are our friends, and they're also our colleagues. One of the special values that binds us at John Deere is our commitment to make a positive and sustainable difference on the lives of those around us, especially those in our communities who have provided for our success in countless ways. Inspired by this shared value, many tens of thousands of John Deere employees from every part of our company have supported United Way since its beginning here in the Quad Cities nearly 50 years ago. Since its first investment in United Way Quad Cities in 1973, the John Deere Foundation has awarded it more than $30 million, making it the single largest recipient of the Foundation's funds in its history. I'm humbled to know that I work with colleagues and for a company that have generously supported an organization that has helped hundreds of thousands of people who mean so much to us. On a personal note, United Way and its donors gave something to me. When I was growing up, my family and I were helped by United Way. When I was 4 years old, my father was killed in an accident. Overnight, my mother was left to raise 3 kids. She was able to turn to Big Brothers Big Sisters, a United Way funded organization, for assistance. My brother and I both got big brothers, and they helped fill the void that was left when my dad passed away. They served as outlets and role models for my brother and me. And as importantly, they gave my mom a break and the support she needed for our family. I have no doubt in my mind that the support of United Way helped put me on the path to where I am today. For that, I will always be grateful. And because of this, my family and I are thrilled to give to United Way, knowing full well that every gift can make a difference in the life of another. To be sure, the events of the last year have highlighted for those of us at John Deere the vital role United Way plays in the fundamental health of the Quad Cities. COVID-19 laid bare the enormous challenges for many of the most vulnerable in our home community, particularly those struggling in poverty. Further, the murder of George Floyd and the critical social justice dialogue it sparked have helped increase awareness of the unique challenges experienced by Black, Hispanic, Asian, immigrant, female, LGBTQ, and other Americans who have not had fair access to opportunities that many of us take for granted. United Way is uniquely positioned to address these challenges because of its proven and effective model. First, United Way is unparalleled in its ability to collect vital financial and other resources throughout the community to alleviate critical needs and create uplifting opportunities. Today, our needs and opportunities come in many forms. Here in the Quad Cities, they include equitable access to childcare, education, mental health services, and career pathways. Second, United Way permits everyone in our community to have a voice on where those precious resources should be directed to have their greatest impact. When we give to United Way, we provide resources to panels of dozens of local experts, leaders, and concerned citizens, and we empower them to invest in those organizations and activities that make the greatest difference for everyone in the Quad Cities. For me, this model embodies the very meaning behind the name United Way and the unique role that it serves. Through United Way, we can all unite our resources, and together we can choose the best way to use them. On behalf of John Deere and my colleagues, please allow me to thank United Way for what it means to John Deere and to the entire community. We consider ourselves blessed to call the Quad Cities our home. And we are thrilled to work alongside thousands of others who wish to see everyone in the region have a chance to prosper. We know our mere thanks, however, is not enough. I'm pleased to announce that since the start of our fiscal year in November, John Deere employees and the John Deere Foundation have already donated $2 million in support of United Way. United Way Quad Cities receives the largest amount of total support of any nonprofit organization from the John Deere Foundation and John Deere employees, and they earn every penny of it. But we know our work is not done. This is why the John Deere Foundation recently made its 10-year, $200 million commitment. For United Way, we will raise more funds, provide more volunteers when we are able to do so, and advocate throughout the community that the United Way represents one of the best ways forward for all of us. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. We are so fortunate to have John Deere and leaders like Ryan in our community. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Ryan, and for your leadership. Your support and that of John Deere signals the importance of today and our collaborative work to improve lives in our community. As we wrap up, 2030 might seem like a long time away, but I want you to consider this. The babies born this year will be third graders in 2030, and we want every single one of them to be living in a racially equitable society where they're reading proficiently and the only thing they're hungry for is learning. Today's third graders will be high school graduates and college students in 2030, and we want every one of them to be living in a welcoming Quad Cities, ready for success in the next stage of their lives and prepared to take on the world in college or career. Today's high school students will be a significant part of the workforce in 2030 and the parents of our next generation of young children. We want each of them to be living with the resources to invest in their family's financial security, health, and well-being. And each of us can drive change. The more who help, the bigger impact we will all have. So in a region with a population of more than 350,000 people, we're calling on each of you to pledge your commitment, your voice, and your support to this work. When we rise united, we give every student the education they deserve. Help all adults find a job that utilizes their talents and prove that health is the greatest wealth of all. And the first step is to say, count me in. And we're counting on you. And because it's the Quad Cities, we know you will step up. Together, we can create lasting change, and the result will be a stronger, more equitable, and prosperous Quad Cities. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and online, and go have a great week. Thank you.